Hello, and welcome back to Dragon Dreams. My name is Ivan, and this channel contains my musings on TTRPGs. This video is a response to my gamer buddy Tom Wankum's blog response to my last video, Dungeon Crawls to Stories. I've put links to both my last video and Tom's blog post in the description below. So in that video, I say that I want to have my dungeon and eat it too. I want the tactics of dungeon crawls with a good story, and I discuss how to take classic dungeon crawls and turn them into stories. In his blog post, Tom argues that storytelling is an integral part of TTRPGs, and that you can't take the story out of the game. Even a dungeon crawl like In Search of the Unknown, he says, is a story. He also decries the dungeon crawl purists who insist on not having a story at all. Well, I don't think we're really disagreeing much, and I'm not a dungeon crawl purist. I'll note that having gamed with Tom, he's pretty clearly a narrativist. And if you don't know what that is, see my 4 approaches to TTRPGs video, also in the description below. And narrativism's great. I have no objections to narrativism. And while I don't really disagree with much of what Tom said, I do have a few points to make. And really, more than that, to elaborate on my points that I made in my previous video about, to continue my thoughts on how to have a hybrid of a gamist style and narrative style with a little bit of simulationism, injected in. So I started playing D&D in 1982, and the very first adventure I played was Keep on the Borderlands, which was the starting adventure that came with a box set. We played it without any story at all. We just went to the Caves of Chaos, fought bad guys, and went back to the keep when we needed to rest or re-equip our characters. And if you're not familiar with that adventure, I've just explained it. Next, we played Palace of the Silver Princess. It was still a dungeon crawl, but this time with just a bit of a story. The Kingdom of Haven is under the evil curse of the demon Auric. Its princess is a knight and a knight suitor, are imprisoned inside of an evil ruby. Everyone else is turned into stone. You have to save the kingdom before it's too late, and there's no way out of the palace, because Auric's red light, which has surrounded the palace, will kill you if you leave. Next, we played the Isle of Dread. We sailed to a tropical island and first had to talk to the indigenous people to get clues about hidden treasure. We then explored the island, having many adventures, until we finally found the short dungeon where the giant pearl is. If you've never heard of this adventure, once again, I've just explained it. There was no story, but we were introduced to a hex crawl, which is a different type of a thing from a dungeon crawl. Next, we played Castle Amber. The dungeon is a French chateau in the ethereal plane. In order to unravel the problem its owners face, you have to roleplay with the insane members of the Domberville family. It also features a massive garden, which is a little bit wilderness-esque for those people who want wilderness. And you can go to a different world of Avernois, where you can do more hex crawling and go on more quests. So it had a bit of a story, a bit of role-playing, a lot of dungeon crawling, and potentially some hex crawling if you go to Avernois. I kept playing what would later be termed dungeon crawls and hex crawls all the way through high school, never knowing that there was any other way to play, and having a great time with my friends. It wasn't until I started college in '92 that I even encountered the terms dungeon crawl and hex crawl. Those were both derogatory terms at that time and place. Gamism was out. Simulationism and narrativism were in. The tone of adventures shifted from ones that were predominantly tactical and with possible stories and role-playing on the side or behind the scenes, to ones that were primarily stories with both tactics and problem solving kind of going a little bit to the background. And I enjoyed that style too, but I secretly missed dungeon crawls and hex crawls. After I graduated in '96, I realized I wasn't alone. I joined a new group. My game bud Jerry said that all these stories were nice, but he really just wanted to blow shit up. Today, I prefer a hybrid of gamism, simulationism, and narrativism. As I look back on my fun, I find that what I really like is heroic adventuring. All three styles have their merits and their place within that. A dungeon crawl puts us in the labyrinth. Put in Hero's Journey's terms, it's the belly of the beast and the road of trials. It's also a real test of our own heroic virtues, albeit with the comfort of the game table, because our characters can actually die in the dungeon. Simulationism creates the background and context in which the heroic adventure takes place. The setting is where the heroes embark from. It's where they'll return to if they survive. It's the known part of the hero's journey. The dungeon, or island of treasure, or whatever, is the unknown part. It's the fairyland, so to speak, in which the heroes are tried. The narrativism provides the other parts of this. If we're saving a princess from a dragon, or a dragon from a princess, it's the source of the other figures in the heroic journey. Or the hero's journey, excuse me. The ogre tyrants, the mentors, the encounters with the Dark Father, even if that's only Strahd, the Dark Mother, even if that's only Lolth, the ultimate boon, even if that's just a giant pearl on a tropical island. Well, I don't want to take this too seriously. I mean, the hero's journey can get a little bit heavy, and we're just talking about games after all. So I'm not looking for some sort of spiritual revelation or anything here, so I won't overstate this point. I just find that the hero's journey theory is useful in explaining where my fun comes from in fantasy RPGs. And if you're not familiar with the hero's journey, I think Wikipedia has a good article on it. And you can read that. You'll understand what I'm talking about, all the little references that I'm making to different points on the hero's journey, the known and the unknown sections of it, and the different motifs and so forth. Now this is, popularized by like Joseph Campbell, but I think other people also contributed to it. In any case, I mostly agree with Tom in that narrative is one of the critical ingredients of my fun as I play today. I disagree just a tad that it's necessarily an essential ingredient for everyone. Some people are just interested in tactics. These are not necessarily the sorts who insist on dungeon crawl purism, though those people certainly exist. No sort of purism, in fact, makes any sense when we're talking about having fun in a game that's as versatile as a TTRPG. But I would look at someone like Ben Milton of Questing Beast. He doesn't have any axe to grind about some sort of dungeon crawl purism, but he's clearly a gamist. His passion for tactics and problem-solving based gamism in dungeon crawls and hex crawls come through in every video he makes. For the first 10 years of my gaming, my friends and I enjoyed adventures that had little or no narrative. It was only after I was introduced to a narrative style that I realized that I enjoyed a hybrid. So, in conclusion, first of all, I think that these styles can be mixed. I don't think we have to be purely one or the other. But ultimately, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I hope to put both beauty and a beholder in my next dungeon crawl. So, thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you.